Peace, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to Moorish Monday with Abdullah Il Talib Mosi Bey or Magnus Crystal Pyramid YouTube. Please like and put the notification button. Hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do so now. I want to also always give thanks to Brother Hank. This is my 1 year anniversary. Being on this platform, I greatly appreciate it. I have a doozy for you tonight. All right, so we're going to get right to it. Before we do that, what'll be strolling. Will be strolling across the screen all night is my website, mooresandmasonry.org. For my books, for Moors and Masonry Part 1, How Her Venus and Moon Rule, Etymology and Vocabulary, the Masonic Compass Square and the Connection and Measurement of Timekeeping, the Illuminati and Illumination of the Mind, go to mooresandmasonry.org. Today's topic is uplifting women through the restoration of ancient world culture. Uplifting women through the restoration of ancient world culture. And I've been at this topic for over 20 years. And then more so in my knowledge base has grown over the years. So I'm going to start by reading from the back cover of Moors and Masonry. The How Her Venus and Moon Rule. We're going to look at the mental subjugation of women through the distortion of ancient world culture. So once again, the topic is uplifting women through the restoration of ancient world culture by looking at the distortion, the subjugation of women through the distortion of ancient world culture. All right, this is in the chapter entitled "The Goddess of the Witches" of their book, the Great Cosmic Mother, Rediscovering the Religion of the Earth. Monica Suge and Barbara Moore write, "The morning star, also the evening star, is Venus, which along with the moon was observed with very accurate calculations by ancient astronomers worldwide. To the Aztecs, it was Quetzalcoatl. To the Mayans, Kukulkan. To the Sumerians and Babylonians, it was Inanna Ishtar. When Christians encounter astrological observations and texts on Venus and the moon, they saw only devil worship. Hence, they destroyed library after library containing ancient wisdom and knowledge, including the Mayan Astronomical Library at Mani, as well as the Library of Alexandria. Mayan astronomical knowledge was probably the most advanced in the ancient world. In 1552, the Spanish friar Diego de Landa, confronting all these texts containing Mayan intellectual brilliance, as well as spiritual data, stated that they contain nothing in which there was not to be seen superstitious and lies of the devil, and so we burned them all. Every Christian smashing of Dionic cults in the Mediterranean, as well as later church persecutions of witches in Europe, must be seen in this global context. Wherever Christians, I'm going to explain what that, the original Christian. Wherever Christians saw knowledge, herbal, medicinal, astronomical, symbolical, they saw demonism and moved to destroy it. The witch persecutions were not simply aimed at devil worshippers, but ancient human knowledge of the world. I'm going to reread that. The witch persecutions were not simply aimed at devil worshippers, but an ancient human knowledge of the world. All right, so I wanted to set the tone with this. Also, so that with that, and then we're going to see here the ancient Arabic order of the nobles of the mystic shrine. The ancient Arabic order of the nobles of the mystic shrine, known as Shriners International, that was established by the Europeans in 1870, have placed the Moorish scimitar above the crescent moon and five-pointed star with the shrunken head, with surrounding in a cobra headdress. Now, what does that mean? Once again, the distortion, the subjugation of women due to distortion of ancient world culture. So we're gonna look at that. Now, before I get into that, so look at this witch burning. Why were women burned at the stake? Why were women hunted? Oh, they hate women. Women were hunted because they merely were women. Men hate women. So they had to hunt women down and the witches and burn women at the stake. Because, do you really think that's the case? That is the motive was hatred of women? So this is, once you are clear, have knowledge of ancient world culture, of the system by which wealth, titles, land was passed down. It's called the matrilineal system, where wealth, titles, and land passed down to the mother line of the family. The Nazi Constitution, known to many as the Iroquois Constitution, Articles 40, 42 to 54, is the preservation of the ancient matrilineal system of preserving wealth, passing wealth down to the mother, wealth, title, and land down to the mother line of the family. So once you understand how the ancient world culture was structured, then you will know the motive. If you don't know how ancient world culture and civilizations was structured, then you will see the witch burnings as the motive. You would think that the motive of the witch burnings and witch hunts was predicated on hate. You would go there. And that's a lack of knowledge. So you draw that conclusion from a lack of knowledge. And that's all right. That's why I'm here. All right, so we're going to once again look at the uplifting women through the restoration of ancient world culture. So you get a chance to go to the Iroquois Constitution. That's Articles 42 to 54 in the Iroquois Constitution. Now let's look at I'm gonna tie in the Friday the 13th five-pointed star, right? I'm gonna connect this to Friday the 13th. There is a movie. There is a sequel, a movie series called Friday the 13th, whose main character is Jason. And Jason wears a ski mask, well, a hockey mask. Jason wears a hockey mask. And he goes around, killing women. men, and targeting women. The movie's called Friday the 13th, the movie sequel, Friday the 13th. Main character kills. Ooh. They took a sacred title, Friday, a sacred number that ties to women, 13. Called the movie sequel Friday the 13th, whose main character wearing a hockey mask going around killing. See that? Once again, the subjugation of women, the mental subjugation of women.
Yo, you gotta say unalive, not kill, unalive.
Unalive?
Yeah, you gotta use unalive. Because YouTube is sensitive about the word K-I-L-L.
Thank you. Unalive them. Bump off. All right, so Friday the 13th, the sacred number, Friday the 13th, the number 13, the sacred name, Friday, and called the movie where people are unalive, made unalive. Wow. The mental subjugation of women through the distortion of ancient world culture. I'm going to say that several times because that's key here, so that you really get the concept that I'm going to be conveying. Friday, the F-R-I, Freya, is the Old Norse goddess, F-R-E-Y-A, Freya. That's the Old Norse goddess of fertility, denoting the planet Venus. The number 13 ties to what? Denotes the 13 moon cycles. There's in 28 days, the moon revolves around the earth. 28 days. 13 times. So 28 times 13, 354 days. So that's Friday the 13th. Now, how does Friday tie to fertility? It denotes the planet Venus. That's the goddess of fertility, the planet Venus. How is Abdullah the planet Venus? How is the planet Venus the goddess of fertility? How does Venus tie to fertility? You have the Mayan calendar. The Mayan calendar charts the heliacal rising of Venus, which is between mid-March and mid-April, which is Easter. Esther, Easter, Astarte, Astareth, Ishtar, all in the same family of words. So Easter, female name, to ties Venus is Easter. So the heliacal rising of Venus is between mid-March and mid-April and brings about the raining season. This is knowledge is known by the society. The whole societies have this knowledge. And you have the Mayan calendar, which the Germans stole and have it on display at the German Museum in Dresden, Germany, the Codex. They called it the Dresden Codex, because it's in the Dresden, Germany. It's the Mayan calendar that charts the heliacal rising, extensive record keeping of over 500 years of charting the heliacal rising of Venus. And this is very important to chart the heliacal rising of Venus, because you have to know when to plant so that you can forecast with meticulous records of forecasting the rain so that you could have a good crops to corn, maize, and vegetation to grow. So it's not just, oh, well, Venus, Venus is the goddess of fertility. Oh, worship Venus. Oh, mighty Venus. We worship you. We worship you. Almighty Venus. No, that's not our ancestors. Please don't do that. Let's not disrespect our ancestors. Dude, that's not our ancestors. So if you do that, you're not in the mindset of our ancestors. Oh, almighty Venus. That's not our ancestors. Our ancestors highly mathematical. So if you do that, so our ancestors come back and they see you do that. Who are those people? Huh? Yeah, they're your descendants. Say that again. They what? Yeah, they're your descendants. No, they're not. You said they are descendants. But why they doing this? Oh, mighty Venus. Oh, but why are they doing that? Like, why aren't they charting? You said they are descendants. Well, why aren't they charting? Where's the calendar? Why aren't they charting? They're growing, knowing when to plant. You said they are descendants. Why are they doing this worshiping stuff? Why all this prayer and worshiping? You said they are descendants. Oh, we don't recognize them because they doing all this praying and worshiping. I don't see them charting, measuring, planting by, the Venus. I don't see them doing that. They're doing that. And I want to make this plain. So this is my style. My style to bring this down, to make it plain. So you have there. So now you have this movie sequel, Friday the 13th. And this also designating Friday the 13th as unlucky. See, that's the mental subjugation of women through the distortion of ancient world culture. Lucifer, that's Venus. Lucifer, the light bearer. And in the Bible, Lucifer is referred to as the light bearer, the bright and morning star. In King James Bible, Lucifer is referred to as the bright and morning star. So Luke, L-U-C, light, fer, F-E-R, bearer. So Lucifer, this evil character. See, this mental subjugation of women through the distortion of ancient world culture. So the torchbearer, the Statue of Liberty. Also the Europeanization of our culture. So the Europeans, who are culture bandits, who hijacked our culture, they use that which denotes the planet Venus and personification, the Starbucks figure. Well, somebody that looks like me, but a woman that looks like me, my complexion should be there. That's the image, not that. That's hijacking. The Statue of Liberty in the harbor. That's hijacking. The torch bearer. The torch is denotes Venus, because Venus is known as refers, though it's not a star, and why it's referred to as a bright and morning star and bright and evening star. Is it too much light, Hank? Am I good here with the light? I got the light behind me. So they light, bright, and morning star. And Venus is referred to as the bright and morning star because there's 260 days where Venus rises before sunrise. So bright and morning star. It rises before sunrise for 260 days. There's a 52-day transitional period. 52 cards in the deck. 52-day transitional period. Now, and after 52 days later, Venus, for 260 days, Venus rises after sunset. Therefore, Venus is referred to as the bright and evening star. Venus is very, very important when it comes to agriculture, tying to the Venetian Mayan calendar, the Mayan Venetian calendar. Very important. Just not a mere calendar, but this is for survival. This is not a casual knowledge base. This is for actual survival. But no, we go to the supermarket. You know what I mean, we go to the supermarket day, so this is not important to us. All right, so to continue with that, Venus. So we're going to get back to this. Ancient Epic Order of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine, now known as Shriners International, established in 1870 by Walter Fleming. Now the brothers, my dear brothers, whom I love dearly. I love my dear brothers who are Shriners, Prince Hall Shriners. I love you, brothers. On that down, this is where our brothers imitated the Europeans. The Europeans did this. The Europeans placed the Moorish scimitar above the crescent moon and five-pointed star and placed the shrunken head, the cobra. Now, this is all our culture. The scimitar is ours, crescent moon, and I'm going to explain the cosmology of the five-pointed star. All right, so this is our culture, but I'm saying the way the Europeans did this, not the brothers. The brothers didn't do this. The Europeans placed the Moorish scimitar. This is what the Europeans did. What the brothers did was imitated the Europeans. So the brothers adopted the way, they just simply adopted this from the Europeans. All right, thank you. Technical little, I accidentally hit my screen. All right, so as I was saying, the brothers imitated, they adopted the way this presentation from the Europeans. So in this way, the brothers are imitating the Europeans. Now, my brothers are not aware of what this means. They're not aware that this is subjugation. They're not aware of that. All right. Once again, I love my brothers. So I'm not attacking my brothers. I'm not about dividing. I'm not going to attack my brothers. Just making it clear that the brothers imitated the Europeans in doing that. The brothers did not do that. This is subjugation. You don't want to do this. You don't want aware of this. This is subjugation. But our brothers do not know. I'm not attacking my brothers. I got to speak the truth, not attacking them. They don't know. This is subjugation. This is this once again, the mental subjugation of women through the distortion of ancient world culture. The 5-pointed star. The 5-pointed stars. So let's talk about it. Doesn't matter. This hear me out. This is very important. It doesn't matter in what form it is. No, it's inverted or up and inverted right, and the way they present it and is this way, and no, it doesn't matter. I made a claim. I'm going to support it. Doesn't matter in how you turn it. Let me explain why it doesn't matter. This is the 5-pointed star. The formation of the 5-pointed star is in the sky. It's an 8-year cosmological cycle. The 8-year Earth and Venus alignment. Here we go. 584 days. Venus transitions between the Earth and the Sun. 584 days. So that's 1 point. Right here, 1 point. 504 days. Venus transitions between the Earth and the Sun. 2 points. 504 days. Venus transitions between the Earth and the Sun. 3 points. 504 days later, Venus transitions between the Earth and the Sun. 4 points. 504 days later, Venus transitions. 584 days later, Venus transitions between the Earth and the Sun. 5 points. So it doesn't matter how it's positioned. And then it starts again. 8 years later, again. Starts again. 8 years later, cycles all over again. 8 years later, cycles all over again. So it doesn't matter how it's positioned on paper, or flag, or seal, or whatever meaning they're applying to that. Let's go to the epistemology. Let's go to its original formation. Let's start there. So we don't get caught up with, it doesn't, it's positioned this way, and there's not the wrong way, and wrong this way, and wrong way. Well, how was that determined? Like wrong way, right way, this way, that way. So once you understand its origin, how it's formed, every 8 years, 8 years. All right, Rosetta. So you have the Rosicrucian. That's the 5. That rose, rose, and that rose forms into a rosetta, or Rose Bella, or Rosetta, which is that 5-pointed star. That the rose, and if you're using phi, phi 1.618, the divine proportion, the golden mean, you'll see it forms into a 5-pointed a pentagram. Pentagram. So rose, that's Venus. So in the word Rosicrucian, the word rose, denotes the 8-year Earth and Venus alignment. And that name, denoting Rose Bella. Crucian, the cross, which is the Egyptian diameter. So this concept of the cross versus the crescent moon. Yeah, the fighting. Yeah, the cross. Yeah. See, it's the fight against the cross and the crescent moon. That's a distorted construction. The cross is the Egyptian diameter. The crescent moon is the first quarter moon. So you have your new moon. There's 7 days in the lunar calendar. And we're gonna tie the devil into this. There's 7 days between each major moon phase. From the new moon to the first quarter moon. You don't see the new moon. So when it's a new cycle, you don't see the moon for 7 days. That's through the new moon phase. You don't see it for 7 days. When you first see the moon, you're in the second week. You're in the second week of the month when you first sight the moon, because it's in the first quarter phase. I'm going to tie this in. It's all important. I'm going to make the connection. So from the new moon to the first quarter moon, 7 days. From the first quarter moon to the full moon, 7 days. From the full moon to the last quarter moon, or what's it called, a waning moon, 7 days. And from the last quarter moon to the new moon, 7 days, 28 days. Now we're going to get back to the first sighting. You're in the second week now. Second week of the month. The word month means moon. The etymology of the word month means moon. The etymology of the word menses means moon. So you're in the second menses or moon. When you first see the moon, it's the first quarter moon. It looks like what? The goat, the horns of the goat. It looks like the horns of the goat, the crescent horns of the goat. You see why the goat was used as an ancient symbol of fertility, power, and woman, and the Europeans distorted it. So, and made it gory, and misrepresented as the devil and the cause of the world's evil. They took that which is sacred. Once again, the mental subjugation of women through the distortion of ancient world culture. Uplifting, what am I doing? Uplifting women by restoring the knowledge of ancient world culture. Uplifting women by restoring the knowledge of ancient world culture. We have to eradicate the fear. We have to eradicate the fear. So this is why I put a lot of time in this area of my research, my presentations. I target this area because we must eradicate the fear that suppresses the mind. It suppresses the higher form of thinking, the higher form of knowing, higher sense of consciousness. And then so what happens? Follow me, my sisters. Please follow me. You pass that down to the fetus. It's already in you. You pass it down. So therefore you do not bring forth higher beings vibrating on a higher level from higher dimensions. Because of that, they know what they're doing. I know what they're doing. The women are the key. Continuing. The word sin is Sumerian. Lunar, Latin. Modern English, moon. Once again, sin, Sumerian. So go out, look outside, y'all. What phase is sin in? What phase is sin in? Sin, Sumerian. Lunar, Latin. Moon, modern English. So go outside and see sin. What phase is sin in? Sin is not a bad deed. That's sin, modern name, modern English name, moon. Once again, mental subjection, the mental subjugation through the distortion of ancient world culture. So we must distort. We're not walking in the mindset of our ancestors. Once again, our ancestors come. Who's these people? Well, they're your descendants. Say what? Yeah, yeah, they're your they're your descendants. Say what? You say that what do you say? They my descendants. These people here? Wow. What happened? Well, see the Europeans, they messed us up, they distorted the culture, they took us from y'all and killed y'all off, and they put us in orphanages, and they indoctrinated us, so that we won't be able to, recognize y'all, so that y'all don't even recognize us. You see, you don't even recognize us, see, because we're not doing the same thing y'all did. So I'm just trying. This is my style, just to make it plain. So this concept is key here. So we're gonna tie. So let's tie nationality, the consanguineous aspect of nationality. Now you're looking at fertility here. The association of, before I get into the nationality, I'm going to go into Sirius, the dog star. Sirius, the dog star. July 4th is the helical rising of Sirius, the Egyptian New Year. Now, what that does, the helical rising of Sirius brings about the flooding, and it doesn't flood every year all the time, because you had times where you had no flood, and it's called, there's no inundation. So you have what's called the drought. So they soot, the silt, the SILT, silt, which is high in nutrients. It's black and high in nutrients. It rises to the surface. So you prepare, the land is prepared. All right. They're called rope stretchers. In the lodge, they're called rope stretchers. You have 3 knots, 4 knots, 5 knots, and form into a triangle. Rope stretchers. That's your 3, 4, 5. All right. Your 3, 4, 5 triangle. 3 square plus 4 square equals 5 square. 3 square, 9. 4 square, 16 equals 5 square, 25. So folds out. All right. 9 squares, 16 squares, 25 squares. All right. So you laying out plotting the land. All right. Getting ready for the flood. All right. Because you need that soot, high in nutrients. All right. So you're charting. All right. You have your cross, your Egyptian diameter, your cross, in this Egyptian diameter placed into, you have your records, 500 years or 1,000 years of record keeping, meticulous record keeping. All right. You're forecasting based on what? Based on what? Math. Based on what? Record keeping. Based on particular. You're not, Almighty God. You're forecasting based on, you're using what? You have that cross, the diameter placed in the shaft, a winding shaft with winding staircase with notches on it. All right. So you're keeping record keeping. All right. So based on, all right. So you got a 500 plus years of records. All right. So based on, we look at projections based on what? Based on records. All right. Yeah. So looks like we're going to have flooding this year. Based on the calculations here and these records here. All right. It's like we're going to have flooding. All right. Great. All right. That's what we did. That's what I'm saying. Our ancestors wouldn't know us. So the Europeans hijacked our culture. It's almost that they would know the Europeans. Like European. They're your ancestors. They're your descendants. Say what? They go among Europeans. So I take them among Europeans. And Europeans they got the telescope. The sextant, astrolabe, they're measuring, farming, planted by the moon, and say, well, yeah, that's what we did. Yeah, we did that. I mean, they don't look like us, but they doing what we did. I know they don't look like us, but they're doing what we did. All right, so I take them back to us. Almighty God, Almighty Allah, saying this and he worship them. We don't know them. Like I know they look like us, but they're not doing what we did. Can you take me back over to the people that don't look like us? What they call? Some people call them white people. A lot of people call them white people because they don't have knowledge of nationality. They don't say English people or Irish people or Scottish people or German people. You know what I mean? They them people your descendants. See, your descendants will call them white people. See, they don't call them English or Dutch or Irish or German or Scottish or French. You know what I mean? They call them white people. You know what I mean? That's because of this guy named Francois Benaire, in his 1684, in his new division of the world, and using white, black, red, brown, and yellow to identify, to classify human beings. You know what I mean? So they caught up in that. You know what I mean? So I'll take you back to those people. Yeah. Yes, you say you want to go back to them. Yeah, but they're not your descendants though. See, they the ones that robbed y'all. They knocked, see, they made them look, see, they put your descendants like, they made your descendants like that. See, they don't, those folks over there, they made your descendants like that. You know what I mean? They worship him, and you know what I mean? And that's why they're not doing the telescope and the astrolabe and the quadrant and mapping and in fact, you see, they'll take the diameter. You know what I mean? They got the diameters on church. They got the diameter on church buildings and on T-shirts and on hats and earrings on the back of their cars and stuff, and they bow to it and all that. Huh? They do that? No, that's supposed to be in the shaft with the winding. They got notches on it. It's in the shaft, and with the winding staircase with notches. Yeah, we use that for, predicting the flood and with meticulous record keeping. They're doing what with it? They bowing to it. It's on built. What? Man. So you said those folks over there that these people called white people did this to my descendants? Man, they sure did a job on them. Man, they smoked in the head. I mean, we don't recognize them because, though we got the same complexion as us, but they ain't doing what we did. They've got the same complexion, but they're not doing what we did. Don't folks that don't look like us are doing what we did. Man, you sure? Hold on. You sure they're my descendants? Yeah. See, they look like you. Yeah, but they're not doing what we did, though. Man, you're jiving me, man. You're jiving me. All right, so continue right along, my brother. That's my style, brothers and sisters. All right, so it's important to understand what has happened to us as a people. We must do a Sankofa. The Sankofa bird, whose body is positioned forward and whose head is looking backwards, means to look back to the past and pull the wisdom of the past to the present, to apply to the present and also for the future, to make the present better, as well as and prepare a prosperous future. We have to do that. So continue right along. So Sirius, so the life-giving quality. So we're going to tie this nationality piece in. The life-giving qualities of Venus tying to the Sirius, because of the life-giving qualities that brings about the flooding of the Nile River, which is the helical rising of Sirius, is associated with the life-giving qualities of women. Here we go. Women, the fetus. You have the umbilical cord connected to the navel. The navel connected to the umbilical cord. The placenta connected to the umbilical cord, which is connected to the fetus. To what? Expel this discharged waste and pass nutrients. That's the life-giving qualities. Child is born. It continues. The mother places the child on the breast. The breast milk has colostrum, higher nutrients. So that's the life-sustaining, life-giving, and life-sustaining So the Nile River, Sirius, the helical rising of Venus. So the life-giving and life-sustaining qualities. This is why nations are referred to as she. Flags are referred to as she. I'm giving you the why. So this attack against women is because of this ancient world culture and civilization. So deities are female. How is that? What? How did it come to be that people throughout the world are bound to males, statues? Like, how did that happen? Yeah, because that didn't exist. That like bound to males. That huh? Like that doesn't. That didn't. That mind. It didn't exist. Once again, the life-sustaining, life-giving. They see women giving birth. Right, that's life-giving, life-sustaining. Breast milk, life. You see it. You see it. You see the earth bringing forth life. So where's this male? God he, Buddha he, Confucius he, Zen he, Jesus he, Zoroaster he, Zoroaster he. Like what's this he? The mental suppression, mental subjugation of women through the distortion of ancient world culture and civilization. That he. So once again, let's follow me. He worships me. He, Almighty, He, God. He is so great. He is so wonderful. He, see that? That goes on every day. Every day. They're not thinking female. They're not bowing to female. They're not, see the control, once again, the mental suppression of women, mental subjugation of women through the distortion of ancient world culture and civilization. This is huge mental control. The only way I know to wake our sisters up to do things I gotta teach. We gotta teach. So I address these areas of subjugation. We must do that, and not and do it unapologetically. Once again, teach on it unapologetically, without fear. I'm not apologizing for what I'm saying. The European, I didn't distort our culture. The Europeans did that. I'm not apologizing for it. I ain't smoked in the head. Right, so understanding the value of this knowledge. Now, the five-pointed star. Now, the five-pointed star placed within a circle. That represents the Earth and Venus alignment. Now, you have Europeans who are into heavy metal. They'll use the they'll have a tattoos, pendants of the 5-pointed star within the circle. Oh, devil worshippers. See, they're devil worshippers. Yeah, no, the devil worshippers. Or they'll have the goat within, 5-pointed star, marked within. Yeah, the devil worshippers. See, once again, the goat, that denotes the moon, fertility, crescent-shaped horns. There's a movie called Maleficent. Mal, M-A-L, bad, Maleficent. The main character is a woman, a horn-headed. The main character is a woman. That's Maleficent with horns. See that? See they how they use Maleficent as opposed to beneficent. Hellboy, horns. See what they done? Just gotta bring this. Just bring this out. Just bring this to your attention. Now, the nationality, the consequence aspect of nationality. In my book, Moors and Masonry Part 2, Chapter 1. Chapter 1 of Moors and Masonry Part 2. I have about 4 or 5 pages in there, in that section, where I write about the consequence aspect of nationality. So I compare to show there. And I address the distortion that's in the Article 15, Section 2 of the United Nations, 1948 United Nations Human Rights Declaration. Article 15, Section 2. Everyone has a right to change his nationality. Everyone has a right to change his nationality. So they're not using nationality in a consanguineous sense, because you can't change your consanguinity, your ancestry, your lineage, your descent, your national origin, your pedigree, your parentage. Can't change that. That's biological. So I address that, explain, show. We'll have an image of a woman, and you see the fetus, all right, in the womb. And I have the placenta, explain the placenta and the umbilical cord tied to give the visual of the proper concept of nationality. Then I have a scroll. So now I'm comparing the word nationality, or contrasting the word nationality with the word citizenship. Nationality, woman, fetus in the womb, umbilical cord, placenta. That's what? Genetics, biology, consequently, ancestry, lineage, descent, that tie. They have a scroll on the right. Citizenship. Citizenship is political. That's citizenship. Nationality, the consequently sense, because the birthright tie. This is the birthright tied to land, to wealth, being passed down, the matrilineal system passed down to the mother line of the family. So they suppress that. There is a political application of nationality, but the consequence application of nationality is first, because the consequentity aspect of nationality is tied to the mother and the matrilineal principles of ancient world civilization. It's a natural tie. Nature. The halo rising Venus. Halo rising Sirius. Pleiades, fertility, agriculture. It's so that it's all tied to that. It's natural, genetics, biological. So the political is where that's the protection. So you set up political systems, i.e. constitution, nation state, to protection. So you're looking at the political aspect of nationality, allegiance, and protection. So that's why mother, nations are referred to as mother. Protection. But beginning with from its natural origin, tied to agriculture, helical rising Venus, helical rising Sirius, the moon, planet by the moon, and the moon. Once again, the moon means month means moon, menstrual cycle. So the 28 days. So so the moon governs. There's a rhythmic. So the women are walking lunar calendars. There's a rhythmic. So there's a rhythmic cycle. All right, that the moon governs that. So every 28 days, the moon revolves around the earth 13 times. So women are counting 12. You count, it's 13. So you see what they're suppressing? He, God, Buddha, Confucius, Allah, he's the greatest. He's this. He's almighty. He's that. He's all everlasting. He. See that control? You see that tremendous control? Tremendous control. All right, let me read from my Masonic Copies of Square book. I adopted this style to just to make things plain and to not be so boring in my presentations. All right, so here we go. I'm going to read from Carolyn C. Wright in The Inundation. The ancient Egyptians viewed Sirius as the bringer of new life. This was because Sirius was newly visible in the sky at the time of the flooding of the Nile River, the life-giving inundation which yearly fertilized their crops. The inundation was also around the time that the Egyptians noticed the rising of the dog star, Sirius. The goddess Septic, Sotis, was the personification of this star, represented as a woman, with a star as a headdress, or as a seated cow with a plant between her horns. Just as Sashat's hieroglyphs might have been a flower or a star. Her star was the most important of the stars to the ancient Egyptians, and the rising of this star came at the time of inundation and at the start of the Egyptian New Year. She was linked closely with Isis, just as her husband Shah, the star Orion, and son Sop were linked with Osiris and Horus. Women, the life giver, the placenta, and the umbilical cord. As the Nile River is the life giver of the Nile Valley civilization, the woman is the life giver to a child. Expecting mothers provide nutrients and oxygen to their unborn child through the placenta to the umbilical cord. The placenta is connected by the umbilical cord to an opening in the baby's abdomen. Women, her breasts and breast milk life-sustaining. Under the influence of the hormone prolactin and oxytocin, women produce milk after childbirth to feed the baby. The initial milk produced is often referred to as colostrum, which is high in the immunoglobulin IgA, which coats the gastrointestinal tracts. This helps to protect the newborn until its own immune system is functioning properly and creates a mild laxative effect, expelling meconium and helping to prevent the buildup of bilirubin, a contributory factor in jaundice. Some biochemical points to human milk. Human milk contains various enzymes. Some are specific to the biosynthesis of milk in the mammary gland, whereas others are specific for the digestion of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates that facilitate the infant's ability to break down food and to absorb human milk. Under a microscope, the appearance of human milk is truly amazing. Although it is a fluid, human milk has substantial substance in the form of compartmentation, nutrients and bioactive substances are sequestered within the various compartments of human milk. Human milk provides appropriate amounts of protein, primarily alpha lactohuman, and wheat, carbohydrates, lactose, minerals, vitamins, and fats for the growing term infant. The fats are composed of cholesterol and triglycerides, short-chain fatty acids, and long-chain polyunsaturated LCP fatty acids. The LCP fatty acids are needed for the brain and retinal development. Large amounts of omega-6 and omega-3 LCP fatty acids, predominantly the 20-carbon arachidonic acid AA and the 22-carbon docosahexaenoic acids DHAs and the deposits in the developing brain of the retina during prenatal and early postnatal growth. Human milk, in addition to its numerous nutrients that make it an ideal food source for growing term infants, and the bioactive fluid that evolves from colostrum to mature milk as the infant matures. This bioactive fluid contains numerous factors and live cells that in concert promote the growth and well-being of the breastfeeding infant. All right, so we're gonna the fish. This is emedicine.medscape.com/article/1835675 hyphen overview Show all. What's that? Hashtag show all. Show all. The fish, ancient Dogon fertility symbol, and its connection to Sirius and the fertile soil in the Nile Valley. The helical rising of Sirius causes the Nile River to flood annually. The Dogon fish fertility symbol is associated with Sirius because when the helical rising of Sirius occurs annually, extremely fertile soil is deposited on the floodplain when the Nile River floods. The layers of highly fertile soil is the fertilizer for the vegetation to grow in the Nile Valley. Also, the abundant Nile Valley provided much needed irrigation. The life-giving qualities of the Sirius became associated with the life-giving qualities of women. Therefore, a woman has been personified as the dog star Sirius. The mitre, worn by the European Egyptian substitute ruler using the Egyptian title Pope, is a symbol for the fish and fertility of the Nile River. Note, Pope is derived from the Egyptian Ptah. The name Peter, as in the seat of St. Peter, is also an English variation of the Egyptian Ptah. That Europeans are culture bandits. Culture bandits. So I trust I did my job tonight. Trust I did my job today. I'm going to close by rereading. Once again, this is from in the chapter entitled Goddess of the Witches of their book, The Great Cosmic Mother, Rediscovering the Religion of the Earth. Monica Suge and Barbara Moore write, the morning star, also the evening star, is Venus, which along with the moon was observed with very accurate calculations by the ancient astronomers worldwide. To the Aztecs, it was Quetzalcoatl. To the Mayans, Cococan. To the Sumerians and Babylonians, it was Inanna Ishtar. When Christians encounter astrological observations and texts on Venus and the moon, they saw only devil worship. Hence, they destroyed library after library containing ancient wisdom and knowledge, including the Mayan astronomical library at Mani, as well as the Library of Alexandria. Mayan astronomical knowledge was probably the most advanced in the ancient world. In 1552, the Spanish friar Diego de Landa, confronting all these texts containing Mayan intellectual brilliance as well as spiritual data, stated that they contained nothing in which there was not to be seen superstitious and lies of the devil. And so we burned them all. Early Christian smashing of Diantic cults in the Mediterranean, as well as late church persecutions of witches in Europe, must be seen in this global context. Wherever Christians saw knowledge, herbal, medicinal, astronomical, symbolical, they saw demonism and moved to destroy it. The witch persecutions were not simply aimed at devil worshippers, but an ancient human knowledge of the world. Now, the word Christian, they're using the word Christian in its constructive sense. The word Christian, charis, Christ is the oil that's seated in the pineal gland. The sunlight stimulates the serotonin and melatonin in the brain, neuromelanin. So that's the Christ. So now the Christ drops to the lower self, that we have to get that Christ rising back up, spiraling along the spinal cord. So you have the snake, the Pope, the Egyptian, the substitute Egyptian ruler, the European substitute Egyptian ruler, using our title Pope. He has a staff, our staff, with two snakes intertwined, ascending to a pine cone, intertwined and ascending to a pine cone. That's Christ rising again. The Christ, the Krishna, the Kailas rising, all right, along the spinal cord, ascending back to the seat of Christ. The seat of Christ. All right? So the pine cone, the seat of Christ. All right? So thank you for riding with me today. This is in 1 year. 1 year. Once again, my website has been strolling across the screen all night, mooresandmasonry.org. If you want to get the book, The How Our Venus and Moon Rule, go to mooresandmasonry.org. Also, the Masonic Compass Square and the Connection to Measurement and Timekeeping, as well as my other books, Moors and Masonry Part 1, Moors and Masonry Part 2, How Our Venus and Moon Rule, Etymology and Vocabulary. Etymology and Vocabulary, Supplementary 1, go to mooresandmasonry.org. All right. Thank you again. My guest next week will be King Al Bay. The title is Due Process, the Key to Freedom. He was supposed to be on, we were trying to get him on today. The day's his solar return. The day's King Al Bay's solar return. Happy solar return, Brother King Al Bay. All right. Next week, Brother King Al Bay, Due Process, the Key to Freedom. Peace, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Veda Makum.
Welcome to being incarnated on planet Earth. You are now gifted with the supernatural abilities because of our planet passing through a sector of the universe that activates God DNA within every man, woman, child. You are the new keeper of the flames of love. You are the keepers of supernatural powers when you invoke I am. And you are the gatekeeper of miracles every day and every way. I salute you in the spirit of Ubuntu. Ashe, Aho, Donada, Wado. So let it be spoken.